nice to meet you all in the world. I am an old man living in the countryside of Japan. No one knows me. However, there is Bushido in my heart. There is a Yamato soul in my heart. Sadly, few Japanese today have Bushido or Yamato-damashii. Japanese who graduated from the University of Tokyo and professors at that university abandoned Yamato-damashii and Bushido. They were dyed with Western thinking. It's sad, but it can't be helped to mourn it now. At the very least, what I can do is to disseminate this Japanese spirit, Bushido and Yamato soul to the world. I think there are many ways to do that. This time, I chose to disseminate what would happen if the world's masterpieces known to the people of the world were analyzed in the spirit of Bushido. If you were expecting swordsmanship or martial arts content, I'd like you to stop watching here now. However, if you look to the end, you can see how good the Japanese spirit is. If you can sympathize with it, please give a voice of praise to Japan. My wish is to strengthen this weakened Japan. I want to revive Japan, which is the only one in the world that boasts a history of thousands of years. It does not mean a revival of feudalism or militarism. This is because I think that the world is needed now for the spirit of Bushido and the spirit of Yamato. It requires world praise. The reason is that intellectuals and cultural figures who are dyed with Japanese Western thought are like re-imports. I believe your voice will awaken them. Well, the first thing I'll cover is The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. I don't need to explain this picture anymore. Everyone in the world knows this picture. It's safe to say that I don't know anything about this painting. I'm not a Christian and I don't know much about past history. I am a complete amateur in art history. Now, I would like to explain what happens when I analyze this using the Yamato soul and the spirit of Bushido that I have. First of all, it is basic to feel honest. It is important to throw away all knowledge and see what it is. Open the eyes of your heart. After watching for hours, I see something strange. One is Peter's right hand. To be exact, the right hand holding a knife. That wrist is unnatural. The wrist doesn't bend like that. Instantly, but Western logical thinking, which prefers justification, will need explanation. So how do you convince yourself? There are two ways. One is to try it yourself. If you try to hold a knife like this yourself, you can understand it immediately. If you want to see it more objectively, ask your friend or lover to dress like this pose. Originally, when holding a knife with an upside-down hand, the sword stance of the Japanese ninja and kunoichi is used. From a Bushido point of view, we borrow other power in such cases. Other powers are neither the opinions of renowned university professors nor the opinions of renowned art historians. That is the most wrong cause. Not even Dan Brown. This is a joke. The other power is Leonardo da Vinci, who portrayed the Last Supper that I the party confronted. The other power is Leonardo da Vinci. Now I will explain how to use the power of Leonardo da Vinci. The answer is simple. Look for this upside-down hand. Yes, find the upside-down hand drawn by Leonardo da Vinci. Here I suggest to you. Here is a picture. It is the Battle of Anghiari that Rubens is said to have copied the mural painting by Leonardo da Vinci. Please take a closer look at this picture. Again, the important thing is to see with your own eyes. It's important to see it as it is. That's right. You also forget that Rubens copied it. For that matter, even forget the title Battle of Anghiari. Here is something I want to say. The fact is that this painting is not a copy of Rubens. This is a painting by Leonardo da Vinci. You can see this proof by watching this video to the end. Back to the topic. What is important here is the upside down hand. The handle of the spear of the warrior on the screen is important. To be precise, how to hold the handle of the warrior's spear. There will be no more upside down. It is no exaggeration to say that Leonardo da Vinci drew this painting to make this noticeable. Now, how to use this picture is important. First, let's flip this picture. Let's make it vertical so that it fits Peter's arm. Let's cut out this part as a starting point. This is the arm I cut out. Leonardo da Vinci is a reversal enthusiast and will forgive me. Next, let's match this cutout fighter's arm with Peter's arm at Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper. What do you think? This angle is the limit? Can you understand? So why did a painter as good as Leonardo da Vinci make such a rudimentary mistake? He knows every corner of the structure of the human body. Naturally, he knows all about the skeleton and joints of the human body. You can see it by looking at this drawing. Once again, you need to see with your eyes. I know the answer. This picture is not wrong. Then I will give you the answer. The correct answer is this. Petro is holding someone's hand. Let's actually try it. Did you understand? There is another person behind Judas. Let's move to Judas once. This is a picture I created. Petro is squeezing the person from behind with his left arm. It's obvious at a glance. This means that Peter's left arm, which is said to be listening to John, is not Peter's. It is the left arm of this person. Here is an interesting picture. Martyrdom of Saint Sebastian by Leonardo da Vinci. I was curious about this pose, especially the left arm. I tried putting it behind Judas. How about that? So who is the person behind Judas? Before that, the Last Supper should be 13 of Christ and the 12 apostles. Does that mean Christ and the 13 apostles? It would be better to ask the Christian people for consideration. There is no doubt that Leonardo da Vinci at least drew with such an intention. If you allow me to think a little, the person hiding behind this Judas seems to be quite angry. The temper is intense. Perhaps it is John, who also has the nickname of Child of Thunder. Then who is this person who is usually called John? This person looks like a woman without using the eyes of the heart. At least it doesn't look like John, who has a strong temper. What do you think of my view? This is the part where there's a disagreement. No one trusts what an old man in the country without a name explains. Then, let's have Leonardo da Vinci prove this as well. Here I want to tell you an episode inspired by it. At one point, I reversed the Battle of Anghiari and tried to put Peter's arms together as it was. I tried to reproduce it at that time. Please look. There was something strange about me. When Peter's arm is about the same size as the warrior's arm, the wall behind Christ at the Last Supper and the Battle of Anghiari are about the same width. If so, wouldn't it be possible to think this way? First, I thought it would be good to match the width of the Battle of Anghiari with the width of the wall behind and slide it to the lower left. What does this mean? I thought it represented the scale ratio. What I'm doing now is the same thought that was being done in Leonardo da Vinci's mind. If you agree with this opinion, give a detailed look at the dimensional ratios of Rubens's Battle of Anghiari and Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper murals. I think you should see it. Back to the topic. Now, I found it strange to match Peter's arm with the Battle of Anghiari. That matched the wall. The eyes of Peter and the eyes of the animals in the armor decoration of the warrior overlap perfectly. Is it a coincidence? In fact, let's recreate the actual work of aligning the red mark with the eyes of Peter and the eyes of the decorated animal in the armor of the warrior with red points. What do you think? I'm sure it's an instruction to position Leonardo da Vinci. First, match Battle of Anghiari to the back wall, and then match Peter's eye and sheep's eye in warrior's armor. Then a mysterious picture appeared. It's a mysterious picture of Peter's mouth blocked by a chain. Of course you would say it was a coincidence. I can understand that too. However, when the scale is combined with Peter's eye and warrior's armor's eye, other parts that cannot be said to be accidental can be found. The border is perfectly aligned with Andrew's left thumb. Is this still a coincidence? I found a more decisive alignment. It is the wide-open right arm of James the Great on the right. How? The fingers of the great James's hand and the horse hoof depicted in the Battle of Anghiari match. Let's reproduce it. I'm sure you will be surprised. There was an instruction to align the three amazing positions. Is this still a coincidence? I'm sure it's Leonardo da Vinci's instructions. It is the instruction of Leonardo da Vinci, who has been hidden for 500 years. In this Battle of Anghiari, Rubens copied the mural painting of Leonardo da Vinci by Rubens. Moreover, he was supposed to see and draw a print of the mural painting of Leonardo da Vinci. Can you believe it in the verification results so far? Moreover, the print that Rubens copied is said to be this print. This is a surprise. Incredible. It's a lie. Only Leonardo da Vinci can calculate the exact ratio of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper to the Battle of Anghiari. Leonardo da Vinci must have had an accurate blueprint for The Last Supper. I calculated from the blueprint and drew Battle of Anghiari. That's it. It can be concluded that this Battle of Anghiari was drawn by Leonardo da Vinci. It seems that great scholars of art history are blind. I think it's a big discovery that hasn't been elucidated for 500 years, but no one will be surprised. That's because I'm not interested in paintings. I'm not really interested. Art has become a toy that elegantly decorates oneself. Still, I don't mind. Let's summarize up to this point. 1. There was John behind Judas. 2. Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper depicts 13 apostles and Christ. 3. The Battle of Anghiari, which was said to have been copied by Rubens, was drawn by Leonardo da Vinci. 4. A catalyst is needed to solve the mystery of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. The catalyst is Battle of Anghiari. Well, restart. So who is the person who has been called John for 500 years? My only personal impression is that this person looks like a woman. Let's ask Leonardo da Vinci to prove again whether this person is a woman or a man. In fact, the proof method was really shocking, and a direct expression. Moreover, it was really cleverly designed. You may fall in shock, as I was. Now it has been proved that the Battle of Anghiari matches Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper at 3 points. If you take a closer look at the composite picture, you will see a mysterious image in addition to the face entwined with Peter's chains mentioned earlier. Details will be introduced later, but one of them is that the face of Christ is also circled. The story goes right here, so let's return to John. The clothes of the warrior overlap on John. But let's throw away the stereotype of warrior clothing. What do you look like? I have to be honest with you. It's exactly the female genitals. It was drawn so clearly that I couldn't understand it. I don't know how to express the surprise when I discovered it. Come to think of it, Leonardo da Vinci dissects the human body and knows every corner of the human body. There is even a human sketch of Leonardo da Vinci, which is still regarded as a model for medical human sketches. I added color to The Battle of Anghiari to emphasize that part, but can you understand my excitement at that time? I felt uplifted as if I had collaborated with Leonardo da Vinci, who is said to be the greatest painter in human history. Back to the topic. Thinking calmly, what does this mean? A female genitalia overlaps this person who is said to be John. Is there any more proof? Leonardo da Vinci's way of proof too directly. This person is a woman. Leonardo da Vinci says that this person portrayed a woman. No one can argue. Now, let me introduce an interesting image that emerges from Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper and The Battle of Anghiari. If you look closely, there are many, but here I will only briefly introduce a few. I dare to refrain from considering the image as much as possible. I think that is the role of everyone in the Christian area. I only helped unravel the mystery of this painting with the Japanese spirit Bushido. I think it's my job to unlock the locks that have been closed for 500 years and open the heavy doors. Entering the room is not my desire. The face of Christ is surrounded. Let's look at it from the left. Forget the setting, Battle of Anghiari. The title is no longer meaningful. There is a soldier who flips up his face guard and stabs his spear. If you look closely, this face guard is strange. It has a human face. Normally, you should wear a face guard with a brave look. Unlike the soldiers who wear it, does it represent the duality of human beings? You will know the situation in early Christianity in Rome. This spear pierces Peter and Judas. Peter seems to have his mouth blocked by a chain. You know what Leonardo da Vinci wants to say. Then, a warrior trying to pull out this spear with all his strength and a warrior trying to slash an enemy soldier who swung his sword and flipped up his face guard appeared. He is rescuing Peter and Judas. Is he trying to get rid of his stigma? Leonardo da Vinci describes it as trying to clear the stigma of Judas and Peter. You know what Leonardo da Vinci wants to say. And a young soldier holds a shield and protects Christ. What threat is it protecting Christ from? A young man is stabbed by an enemy soldier and is bleeding. However, careful observation reveals that the spear is stuck in an enemy soldier. The young man is not dead. What does this mean? I feel that it means the resurrection of Christ. How do you feel? How is it? Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper and The Battle of Anghiari are a perfect collaboration. Leonardo da Vinci did not portray the Battle of Anghiari scene. By superimposing it on The Last Supper, Leonardo da Vinci's will and thoughts are included. This meaning cannot be clarified without repeating The Last Supper and Battle of Anghiari. It's a really outstanding production. It's no wonder that the mystery couldn't be solved for 500 years. Westerners and Christians, I want you to think again in this elucidated way. I would be happy if each individual could come up with their own answer. I would like everyone to share this historical discovery and consider it for themselves. I wanted to end my video with this, but there is an idea of samurai compassion in the spirit of Bushido. It is an unwavering fact that the person who seemed to be John was a woman. But she is sorry for her direct expression of Leonardo da Vinci. I thought I had to do something about it. But don't worry, Leonardo da Vinci was a kind person. Let me introduce the solution. First, cut out this person. Then move it to the side of Christ. Move to the right. I have seen this image on the internet from time to time. However, it is the image of the person who made the image, not the will of Leonardo da Vinci. What I found was to move it according to Leonardo da Vinci's clear instructions. All you have to do is apply Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper and Battle of Anghiari methods. The answer is simple. All you have to do is put the shoulders of this woman on the right hand of James the Great. Then something strange happens. The right arm of James the Great disappears, and the right arm pointing to Thomas's incomprehensible heaven replaces the right arm of James the Great. It's a wonderful Leonardo da Vinci production effect. Looking at this woman, it means, is this woman the most important person to you? How about that? Were you surprised? Who is she, this woman? You know, don't you? I do not know. Thank you for watching until the end. If you develop my own thoughts, the video will take more than twice as long. But I'd like to leave it to you. I have only obediently unraveled the mystery of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper with Bushido spirit and samurai spirit. It is against the spirit of Bushido to be ecstatic and develop your own thoughts. I hope the world will continue to be peaceful. It is the wish of an unnamed old man who lives quietly in the countryside of Japan. Well then, goodbye.